Hello, my name's Linda Pettit. I work with Gymnastics Australia and I'm the Coaching and Officiating Education Manager. It's really about creating an awareness that coaching athletes with a disability is to be non-threatening, and it is non-threatening, and for them to actually look at the participant who's inquiring about participating in gymnastics program, about what their ability level is, rather than focusing in necessarily on their disability. It was not unusual until about the last 12 months for Gymnastics Australia to regularly receive calls about things like how do I include a child who has Down syndrome in my program, or how do I include a child who's in a wheelchair in my program. And quite often those phone calls, there was a lot of mentoring and counselling involved, because we were trying to broker a position with the parent sometimes who might have gone to a club and experienced a very disappointing reaction about being included in a club program, or it might have been the coach on the other side who had undertaken the wrath of the angry parent whose child wasn't accepted into the program. Or possibly sometimes it was also the coach ringing the national organisation seeking some sort of level of support that the decision that they'd made to not accept the child into the program was acceptable. So I guess the strategies that we've been using in at the national office, the people who have been taking those types of phone calls, a lot of what we've been doing is about mentoring, counselling, undertaking some awareness sessions at our national championships, and generally just trying to broker an acceptable current social position for including children with a participation disability into our sporting programs. It's really important to provide resources. Once you create an atmosphere of awareness, people seek support. So what we've looked at is just providing really simple resources in the first instance that are very immediately available. So resources on our website, for example, about how you might include a child with a particular disability, and that there may and equally may not be some implication for that child with a disability that is declared. For their level of participation in a gymnastics program. And that's been a really important part of the level of resourcing that we're providing, because some people just naturally assume that just because you have a disability that there may be an intellectual, a social or a physical impairment that may limit that physical capacity for their involvement. The other, apart from the immediate things that we can do, like putting up information flyers on our website, we've been working away on developing an online education tool. It's called Managing Inclusion in Gymnastics, and it really helps to just reinforce what is good coaching practice. And that is really what we want our coaches to do, is to not change their coaching strategy. We've always held a position that coaching well is just about either providing individual opportunities for people as per their own individual needs. So we're either looking at a situation where a participant might require more challenge because they can do the activities quite easily and quite repeatedly and readily. So what we're looking at is, giving the particular gymnastics activity, well, can you do it in a different way? Can you do it on one leg? Can you do it on a higher surface? But equally, just as much as we're challenging up, we're looking at what we're doing with modifying down. So the coaches, what we're trying to do is just reinforce that if you have a child in your program with a disability, your coaching practice really should not change. Be aware of the disability, but maintain the strategies and the competencies that we already have in our programs, which is about just catering for an individual need. It's really exciting. The organisation has actually decided to make Managing Inclusion in Gymnastics a mandatory training program across all of our gymnastics coaches, with an accreditation that starts from the grassroots level right through to the high performance level. So that in itself is a big step forward. And secondly, all of our officials are also going to embrace that training package as well. So in 2010, we will offer the training package just as an awareness program, but for 2011 technical memberships, anybody who's seeking an accreditation with Gymnastics Australia must have completed the Managing of Inclusion in Gymnastics as part of their regular updating. And until they do that training package, we're taking a position that they won't be considered to be a member. I think it's a whole sport responsibility. And what we see now is, I especially notice this, that my time is not taken up dealing with parents who should not have had experiences where they've gone to clubs and been distraught that their child hasn't been allowed to participate. So, that's possibly a little selfish, and I'm not really just trying to say that it's my time, but I think what that reflects is a really positive step forward in the organisation, that it hasn't been just a top-down program or initiative that we're trying to deal with, because at the moment we're dealing sort of with the ASC, with Sports Connect, but we're actually infiltrating right down, and that's a really big step forward, because we haven't really even begun to roll out what our official platform for resourcing this whole project. So I think the steps that we've done at the moment are actually creating results.